What's up and welcome back to another video, guys. We have a lot to talk about today because we now have images of every single set releasing on June 1st of 2025. We have some really cool sets to talk about. We have images of the Plo Koons Microfighter, the Death Trooper and Night Trooper Battle Pack, as well as the Darth Maul Mech. So without further ado, let's get right on into this video. A big shout out to Duckbricks before we get into this, as they are the one that I got all of these images from. But now as we move on to our first set, I want to start off with the set that I am most excited for, and that's going to be set 75400, the Plo Koons Jedi Starfighter Microfighter. Coming in at 89 pieces and a retail of $14.99. I think this is shaping up to be a great set. A lot of people have been hating on the build for the actual Microfighter, but I think it looks pretty good. I might be alone here, but you can easily tell that it's a Microfighter, and obviously a lot of people are very disappointed that this wasn't a full-scale Starfighter for Plo Koon, but you know, what are you going to do? I'm still very happy that we're getting this updated version of Plo Koon that looks great, that we'll talk about in just a second, and it's in a very affordable set in a $15 Microfighter. And you also get the head of the astromech droid. That's kind of the biggest issue that I have with this. They should have just thrown in the body of the astromech droid. I mean, I know if you were going to display this and you would just have, you know, the body sitting aside, but it would have been nice. I understand why LEGO didn't do it, but it would have been cool to see. And I think that this is a pretty solid build, but I think the whole draw here has got to be this new Plo Koon minifigure that looks just amazing in my opinion. I think there's been some issues with some of the previous Plo Koon minifigures, as good as they have been, and it looks like this one having a harder like kind of head and not like the rubbery head that, you know, gets loose and falls off and all of that and smudges. I feel like this one, the print and stuff may still smudge up and other things like that, but looking toward the actual body print of this, there's so much really good detail in my opinion. You can see on the torso a little bit more minimal, but you have your belt, but then I think right here where the minifigure does very well is on the legs, because you have the print going down and showing the robes, and I just think it looks great. Coming along to the back of this minifigure, not much going on with the back print. You have a little bit of simple detailing on the back of the torso, but then the legs are left bare and no arm printing on this one, which makes sense. But I think this is shaping up to be great, and it's one that I'll definitely be picking up, and I'm super happy that we're going to be able to get a cheap version of Plo Koon. Next up is at 75411, the Darth Maul Mech with 143 pieces and a retail in the USA of $17.99, which is crazy. And I think this is, you know, it's just your normal mech. Personally, I wasn't a huge fan of the mechs, but I think for Darth Maul fits into this mech pretty well. I like the piece on the front to symbolize his tattoos, as well as just the overall build of the mech being just your normal mech. I think the double-bladed lightsaber does look very cool in mech form, and I think a great addition here is the little probe droid that comes out alongside it, and then you get your Darth Maul minifigure, which looks pretty good. I mean, it's the same pretty much as what we have gotten before in our Clone Wars sets, and I just think that this set it's okay, but it's definitely not worth the $18 if you're in the USA. Yes, it's not going to be that expensive if you're from somewhere else. However, just for me personally, it's one that I'll definitely be passing on. And lastly, we have set 75412, the Death Trooper and Night Trooper Battle Pack with 119 pieces and the retail being $22.99. Now, looking toward this, I already talked about it before, so I'm going to try and keep this a little bit quick. But starting off with our minifigures, I have to say, I think the Death Troopers look very good. They have some nice detailing. Yes, I would have preferred if this was just a normal battle pack and not the Night Troopers and Death Troopers, or it had the Death Troopers and they weren't the undead version. But what are you going to do? I think the undead Death Troopers look pretty good. They have some nice detail. However, going toward the actual Night Troopers here, I don't think they look that good. Personally, I think they're overhyped to begin with, the minifigure that we got on Duel of Peridia, and I think here they're also, it's just the big dual molded helmets don't look right in my opinion, and then with just the detail, I mean the detail is nice, but then looking toward the one on the left with the gray helmet, personally I think the gray helmet looks a bit off. I feel like they could have gone about doing that a little bit better. I understand like what it's based off of in the source material of Ahsoka. Personally, just doesn't look too great to me. And then when we move toward the build to this battle pack, one that's getting a ton of hate, personally, I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's pretty straight down the middle for me. I think it is good because you can actually fit all of your minifigures in this battle pack build, which makes it good in my eyes personally, and it doesn't look great. It's not the most visually aesthetic build or the most accurate when looking toward its source material, but I think it gets the job done, and I think this will be a pretty mediocre battle pack. But if you're a fan of the Ahsoka show and you really want to army build these guys, then it's one that I can definitely see a lot of people being very happy with. And that is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and a huge shout out to Duckbricks, as they are the one that I got all of these set images from, so make sure to give them a check out. I'll leave a little link in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date on all of the latest leaks and rumors, make sure to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you're first notified when I post a new video. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew, signing out.